It's gone! It's gone! Not a magician who ever waved just one could have... It's just so good.
Hello, and welcome to episode number 24 of the Musically Challenged podcast.
Hello, I'm quite ill.
Mike,
Mike won't be joining us on this episode. Just kidding, he's right here.
Whoa!
Pulled your leg.
top tier entrance there, Mike.
Fuck Mike, what
Got
are you
me-
doing?
got-
You're just like sitting there.
Gotta make an impression.
It's almost as good as the massive pause you took and then just, hello, the other time.
Hello.
So,
I was originally planning on going, did you ever catch a good guy? Like a real... Because we were talking about Lazy Town before this.
Nah.
But,
Technically, yeah.
so Mike, it's your turn to go first. What have you
Sam,
been...
what have you been listening to?
What's going on? Sam is suddenly getting all the... Go on,
We have to
go
make
on,
up
Sam.
for it.
make up for
make
all,
up
these,
all of those
these
weeks.
of abuse. I had to say last.
Go on then, Sam.
It's mostly been public service broadcasting.
Public service.
Broadcasting. Based on, I had to listen to one of their albums this week for the podcast, so then I got addicted and listened to the other two. Race for Space, which is, we'll talk about it at some point, and then also The War Room, which is more of a EP, but it's still so good, and so great, and both of them are more sort of concept album-y than
the thing
one
we're going to be
the
talking
one
about
we're talking
today.
about this week, but it's very good, very fun.
Good.
Julian,
Nice.
what have you been
Julian.
listening to this week?
I've been on I've actually been going back to ex-military Death Grips mixtape because I got a text from my brother saying, when's the last time you listened to ex-military the whole way through, because I remember it being it's a lot better than when I first listened to it. So I listened to it again, and the last song on it, Blood Creeping, I'm fairly sure MC Ride hasn't screamed as loud as he does in that song and sustains it for as long as he does on any other Death Grips.
He's never peaked that high ever again.
Angry Man.
He's never been at that
never
level
got to
for
that.
just constantly throughout a song. And
I apologise
it's
for all the coughing that's going to be going on.
You better be sorry, Sam. Jesus, you're on my bed. I'm gonna fucking get diseases.
No, I'm going to spread all
I'm
this
surprised you
disease
haven't got it yet,
all
actually.
over.
He's been sitting on that bed since we started this thing.
Well, I mean, I haven't been on the bed since he started this.
You've been sleeping on it all the time,
I see
every
what you mean.
night.
So as in, he's always been on my bed.
Yeah.
So I must have his disease.
Surely by now.
I mean,
That makes sense.
When Mike's sleeping, I'm there too, so it's like
there's no
usually it's
difference.
fine.
Yeah.
Now I've got this illness, now that I'm down with the sickness,
I'm definitely gonna
a
get
little
ill.
worse.
I'm gonna be most affected, clearly. Anyway,
I have been listening to some other stuff as well.
what else would that
Tell us, Julian.
This guy called Square Pusher,
be? Well,
electronic
I think
artist.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
For mostly started to put some stuff out on Warp Records in the late 90s.
Why does he not push any other shapes?
That's what I was thinking.
What's this shape?
I'm
segregation?
tempted to say that the drum machines that he used, all the buttons for programming and sequencing, were square shaped.
So he pushes them
So he pushes
and
them.
then makes sound.
But why doesn't he get some circle buttons?
Yeah, and is he allowed to push circle buttons? Doesn't that break his whole MO? Does that restrict him in any way?
Like, I'm sure the on button's probably a circle.
Yeah.
So, he's pretty much
He just
lying.
probably went with the thing he pushed the
very
most.
restrictive,
I'm
I'd
guessing.
say.
Well, his music doesn't sound restrictive. It's really crazy, fast paced, really 90s sounding, like drum and bass and jungle. It's pretty hyper, pretty
square.
hype.
Pretty square.
Square in
square.
places. Definitely some square waves in there.
Square waves.
But yeah, that's been my stuff this week.
Very nice.
What about you, Mike?
I haven't really. I've just sort of listened to all sorts of stuff as I usually do. There's been nothing that's jumped
Been a
out,
crazy man.
but it's been bits of Animal Collective, bits of LCD Sound System, bits of tiny bits of Radiohead,
Yep,
the usual stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
Suckers.
Yep. That sounds right.
One thing I did go back to a little bit, which is not super typical of me, is there's an album called Yankee Hotel Foxtrot by Wilco. And Wilco is sort of known for being a bit like country appeal to your dad, basically.
That's what I've heard about them.
But this album is a bit more of a standout. It's like a bit more experimental. It's like everything's off kilter, but it's not at all in any way jarring. So it's like a really interesting mix of things being not quite right, but you're like totally okay with it when you're listening to it. And it's that mixed in with the sort of, country stuff. But
So it's like a country album at heart.
It's hard to say. I'd say it's more like an electronic album at heart with country sounds.
Ooh, okay.
The way it's like put together, and like the lyrics are like all over the place and like mishmashed, and it's hard to know what to make of it. But it's really interesting, and the context for it's interesting as well because it was sort of under the shadow of 9/11, and the album cover unfortunately has a picture of two towers on it, and they were going to release it on September the 11th. So, they sort of had to push that one back a bit.
Damn.
But, and some people think one of the songs has got, like, weird references to it, but, like, it's one of these weird coincidence
Conspiracy
things.
theories.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
Fair enough.
don't give that much
Thought to it.
much thought, yeah. But, yeah, the album's good. So, probably their best album. Well, clearly their best album.
I just remembered there was another thing I listened to this week, which was Adam Betts.
The man, the machine.
The drummer from Three Trap Tigers, who performed before
He's one of the
Clipping
Trap
gig.
Tigers.
He is, definitely. And he's the drummer. The tiger that drums. He's pretty good on the drums. That's some like weird electronic shit,
Good at that.
Like when I'm sad they didn't cover him in Planet Earth 2 because he's a very very talented tiger.
Clearly an interesting specimen.
Exactly. It's a real shame, but yeah, he's like just makes some good electronic, funky, dancey, hi-fi sort of music.
I want to listen to him.
I remember the place was hype when he was performing, right?
It was.
Yeah.
I was like
It was fucking lit.
I had many an orgasm during his performance.
Blimey, I need to listen.
I mean, yeah, it's just like the sound system was so good. He was on point.
He knew how to work a crowd.
He was just on. Such like spacey music as well. It works so well with like a massive like speaker system. It was great. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed.
Yes,
well, I didn't.
It's good. It's good music to program to.
Fair.
Good
Been lots
beat.
of that this week.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
Too much.
Kill us. Yeah.
I love
Anyway.
programming.
Yes.
Especially in ASP.
Yes. That's a language that
Probably no one has heard of.
Yeah, not even programmers will know probably. Good meme. Anyway, should we segue onto the content of this episode?
Yes.
So it was my turn this week to choose a relatively new album.
Yes.
So I went with an album by New York kind of indie band, I guess, the Antlers.
Yep.
Kind of a three-piece when they made this band. The only name I can remember when I made this album.
Yeah.
The only name I can remember off the top of my head is Peter Silberman, who was the vocalist and the songwriter, and kind of the main brain of the whole operation, who has now gone solo and released some solo material.
Okay. He's got a very distinct voice.
Also, he's got a very distinct voice. His solo material is not nearly as interesting as this album we're going to talk about, unfortunately. Yeah. But yes, this album is called Hospice. 2009 it came out, so it's getting on a little bit, but my God, does it hold up. I think this was possibly, aside from I think Pink Floyd, this was the first kind of newish album when I started really getting into music a couple of years ago that I like properly fell in love with and thought to myself, maybe I was born in the right generation. Maybe modern music's got something going for it. And it's before I even suggested this and I kind of made a note of it and said we need to talk about this. It'd been a while since I'd heard it last, and going back to it now, I just remember how goddamn good it is.
Yeah, that's understandable. I'm always like that. Whenever I go back to an album and suddenly I'm like, I remember why I thought this was so genius.
Yeah.
I'm like always like, we have to do this.
Yeah.
So I understand the process. Yeah.
So it's like kind of I guess you could pigeonhole it into indie rock if you want to put a really
think so.
wide umbrella term onto it. There's bits of
it's like folky indie rock.
Yeah.
It's a bit spacey as well
Yeah.
at points.
Yeah.
Bit of noise in there. Bit of observed footwear in there.
some crescendos,
Yep.
Yeah.
a la really kind of bland post rock, but this isn't bland in any way because it's goddamn good. It's like 50 something minutes long, 10 songs on it, very digestible, and it's a concept
Quite
album.
varied, yeah.
Importantly,
I was gonna say the main thing is that it's concepts.
about how a hospice worker falls in love with a patient who's got terminal bone cancer and who then
The stories progress. Yeah.
so it's
Progress. Yeah. It's
really really crushing.
What
content
what
is
amazed
heavy.
me about this album is the first time I listened to it, I didn't know like the content of it, but like the sound of it is
Yes.
like so nice and positive and friendly. I went, "Oh, this is a pleasant album.
Yeah.
I wonder why Julian chose this one.
Yeah.
Oh, this is really nice. I like this." And then like I was like, there must be a reason. So I searched it up, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, oh, it's a concept album about someone falling in love with a cancer patient.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you
Oh.
go through and listen, and like,
And you pay attention to the lyrics.
and
See,
it's
I had-
so much.
I had it the other way around
Heavy.
because Julian prefaced us listening to the album, or for me, he said, "Oh, and we're gonna do something that's really heavy and sad this week," which this is. But to my surprise, like, I was expecting it to be more draining. Like the context of it and the content is really heavy and draining, but the album itself is more poignant, I'd say, in my opinion, than it is like really heavily draining because it's not constantly
Bashing
sad.
you over the
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
There's moments of like, I don't know, like beauty and like happiness
Absolutely.
and stuff. But the problem is it sort of sours in like a really, what seems like a really natural way at certain points, and that's when it really hits you.
Yeah.
And this album does that really, really well.
It does a fantastic job of not only like it's not only the lyrics that make you feel the feelings that they want, but the sound, like you say,
Yes,
it
yeah.
reinforces it so well.
Yeah, it does.
Like mixing and effects on this album
Yes.
is so good as well. Like
Yes.
on the second song where it's just him singing like very softly into the microphone.
Yeah.
And the way that his like, you get every like smack of the lips when
Yeah.
when every word ends. It's like, it just makes the sound of it so much more like weaker.
It
and,
does.
Like,
It
frail
feels
and-
personal and frail. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that's one of the only songs which is very like difficult to listen to.
Favorite song on the album. Still.
Fair enough.
Like I genuinely think that
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Peter Silverman's vocal performance, like across the album, is one of my favorite like vocal performances.
It's-
If I'm going to say by like an artist
Right.
that I've heard across an album or across a song or anything,
Yeah.
it's so effective and like you say, it's unique. And when he's doing the really frail vocals on the second track, Kettering,
yeah.
I guess it kind of reminded me of what Phil Elverum's voice was like on the Glow Part 2 with the kind
I
of
pick up some vibes
really
of that.
fragile kind of
Yeah.
quivering
Yeah.
that you get.
It's almost like
It's
just so
ghostly though
personal.
on this song. It's
Yeah, it
it's
is.
almost like it sounds like he's about to die.
It hurts to just hear his voice, let alone
Yeah.
the content that he's.
You can imagine the pain he's
singing
going
about.
through.
Yeah. And like it's conveyed so effectively.
Ugh, it's a real gut punch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
it
is.
is. This was very like, this album reminded me quite a bit of Mountain Goats, just because of the very like personal and very like
Yeah.
on the nose lyrics. Like he does. There's no like
mince,
metaphors
no.
in this.
No,
No,
yeah.
mincing words. It's just like, here are the words. And they're depressing as fuck.
But it's the sounds of the album that bring through like
And
to support that
yeah, and also the sounds
more
are
than
very
any
sort
metaphor
of
does.
yeah. And that's the other thing is that's sort of quite Mountain Goaty about is the sound of it is sort of quite folky and happy, with the lyrics being quite sort of sort of gut punchy.
Yeah.
With like, you got like horns in there and the odd like, I'm not sure if there's ukulele.
Are you thinking of on 2?
Yeah.
I don't think it is. It sounds a little bit too fleshed out to be a ukulele.
It might be like a mandolin or something.
Yeah, could be something like that.
But like, yeah, that sort of acoustic sound to it as well, and just I enjoyed it.
It's quite varied.
I like I quite like albums with the mix of like, or like the juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Of like
Dance. English GCSE.
shoving as many juxtapositions.
Mate, literally, you mentioned that word and you're already up to like B or A. Literally.
It's the only way I got.
So you got through it.
But yeah, of like happy sort of happy sound and then dark as hell lyrics, because it's very similar to sort of like dark humor, where it's it just
seems more effective in like a lot of ways. Yeah.
It's almost like saying these dark things sarcastically if you're having like this happy sort of go-lucky sound to it as well, but it's obviously not, it's not sarcastic.
Yeah, I know.
No, because I mean, if it was sarcastic, the lyrics wouldn't be as like as detailed and like as like unashamedly detailed.
I think that's
as they are.
That's the thing, is it makes them so much more harsh when you've got them played against this such like happy.
Yeah, it does.
Happy things.
And it's not like that's the thing that this does well, is like that's what I was saying earlier. Like you said it was a sad album, and it is. But like the music doesn't try to accentuate that constantly.
No, like
it accentuates it in a more natural way.
Towards the second half,
more human.
The second half of the album feels like you say, the instrumentals are more uplifting and sound more hopeful, certainly than the first half.
Yeah.
Prologue, Kettering, Sylvia, and Atrophy. The first 4 tracks are just really where there's not really that much uplifting stuff at all alongside the lyrics. Atrophy feels especially harrowing to me, and like there's a feeling of like hollowness in it, because he's not as Peter Silverman's voice is not quite as ghostly as it is on Kettering when he's singing, but it's you get the same kind of on the edge of death voice as you get. And I think Atrophy is actually, it was one of my favourite songs on there at first, and it's got, I still think, my favourite lyric on it, where he says, where is it? This is the bit where he's talking about the love happening and the eventual realisation that, okay, well, one of us is, well, I'm going to become very unhappy, obviously, because it's terminal or whatever. Says, with the bite of the teeth of that ring on my finger, I'm bound to your bedside, your eulogy singer. I'd happily take all those bullets inside you and put them inside of myself.
Yes, his delivery on that last bit
bloody
is really
incredible.
Good. Yeah, I remember that.
Still one of my favourite.
That's one of the things that stuck out to me. And there was another moment. I think he has a featured vocal performance from a female singer.
On 13, yeah.
13 it is, yeah, and she's like, something about digging her out or something.
Yeah, pulling her out.
Pulling her out, that's it, and that's like, that really hits you.
That sounds like it's the voice of the patient.
Yeah, and it's like there's like a level of like desperation there that's like really like harrowing and like really hits you. And that's like, with the whole context of the rest of the album, that's like, the only time you hear her voice, right?
Yeah, that's the only time you get any sort of point of view from the patient. Yeah,
it's like that.
It gives off the air of like of someone who is really trying to save someone who's in great distress and is ultimately
just so
failing.
Powerless. Yeah. But like, and like we said, the music accentuates it like really well.
Yeah.
But like, you don't necessarily even pick up on the context unless you get used to this album a bit more.
Yeah, I think Bear might be the first example of where it starts to get a little bit uplifting.
Yes,
to contrast with the lyrics.
Weird, because that song's about abortion.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, it feels like going like deeper and deeper down like a rabbit hole, for example, like because the songs get more uplifting and like detached from their content. Sort of thing, and like Bear is like very it's almost like I don't know, like it's just got like a childish sound to it.
No, it starts with the melody to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then like Bear has probably one of like the lyric that stuck with me the most, which was something along the lines of like, things are very fucked up and not getting unfucked soon.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
It was something like that.
Talking about how like all their friends have stopped like talking to them and like
Yeah.
but they don't care.
Yeah.
Which reminds me quite a lot of
Yeah, it's like
of
sitting
song like
sitting in the
Mountain
wait
Goats.
That
sitting
does-
in the waiting room,
Yeah.
and all the while I'll know we're fucked and not getting unfucked soon.
There, yeah.
That is
the
very akin to Mountain Goats lyrics, those ones
Yeah.
actually.
The kind of
But they work
well,
so
the
well.
one
It's just
about
honest
the one about their
lyrics,
friends just not talking to them is,
Yeah.
is pretty much. Listen to the Mountain Goats song "No Children," ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That one's really good.
Yeah.
That
Probably
sounds
my
like it's
favourite.
about abortion as well.
It's not. It's about two people married who completely fucking hate each other.
Yeah.
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 Like many Mountain Goats
Goat songs.
Yeah.
Which is weird because he's in a very happy marriage, but he just
Maybe that's
makes
how he keeps it
multiple-
working.
Exactly, he makes
It's
multiple
got
songs
to
about, like,
burst it
bad
out
marriages.
somewhere. Yeah.
I'm gonna face away from the mic.
You about to sneeze
Move away from
Face-
the mic to sneeze.
onto my bed. That's the
Ooh,
footnote. Oh damn! Oh shit! He's using my covers to sneeze.
I should have
He's
just.
blowing his nose
I
with my
should've
pillow
I'm going all
covers.
soggy again.
I should
Oh,
have
it's
done
getting
this
soggy.
exactly directly into the microphone. Just for, like, the most.
Some nasal
disgusting-
ASMR for the listeners.
That was a simulation. What I did wasn't real. Just
There we go. I'll just put that.
took that
Tissue
on my head.
right on.
Thank you very much.
right on Mike's bed.
Get the
Next
fuck out
to
of my
the other
room. Please stop. Fucking hell. Oh well. If I die by this cough you've given me, then
Don't worry.
my life would have been not worth it.
Don't worry. If you die, I'll probably die as well. Cause
Yeah.
fucking hell, this thing's killing me.
Bad cold.
Ooh.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Back to depressing songs about abortion
Yeah,
and cancer.
and
Yeah.
cancer.
It just it gives us such a it's a really really effective concept album because the whole the sound of the album, it gives us such a good feel of being in a hospice somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just really
Yeah, I think the
Sums it up for
the
me.
spacey feel of them.
Yeah.
Or not the lyrics. Sorry, the instrumentals. It kind of gives off that clean
it does.
sort of feel.
You totally
that
sort of pick up
hospitals
on
have.
the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's at least that's what I felt like.
I definitely did as well.
It's just good.
It's just very well done, I
It's
think.
good. And,
Yeah.
it's that sort of gut punch
Yeah.
style of songs which I like quite a lot.
Yeah.
Which sort of it's not difficult to listen to
No.
at all.
No.
It's,
No,
it's
no.
very, very nice. You can just drown
You
out
can
the lyrics and
breeze
just
through
listen,
it,
and
yeah.
listen to the album, and
Totally.
it's got very nice sounds and
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's just a extremely well executed concept album as well. Just because of these reasons, it just gives off the sort of feel and sound
Yeah.
of the content and the place, the hospice.
And the last thing I want to say about it is I want to give a special mention to Wake, second last song.
Yeah.
Longest song on the album, almost 9 minutes long.
Yep.
Very much got a generic post-rock crescendo chord kind of structure to it.
Yeah.
And at the end, when it all climaxes, it climaxes into a very fleshed out and full, rich, uplifting and hopeful instrumental. And then once that all dies down, you then get the epilogue, which is just acoustic guitar
Yeah,
and Peter Silverman's voice, and the lyrics on that are possibly the most depressive on the album.
Yeah,
Because
they are.
that is the point at which it's all finito.
Yeah.
The patient's dead. Spoilers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Spoilers.
And then
that's what happens with cancer.
Yeah, exactly.
terminal cancer.
Terminal
at least.
cancer.
cancer, at least,
Yeah.
And
And then the album
it's
just ends.
weird as well.
You just
'cause
sort of
the-
there.
I think the chords are exactly the same to 2,
Oh, really?
Yes, they do play in the.
which sort of
Oh, actually, yeah.
Is it-
There's a bit of a reprise, isn't there?
Yeah,
Of
which-
earlier things. I do remember that a little bit.
Or is it Bear? No, it's Bear that the chords are the same as.
Is it?
It's definitely Bear. Two is the more uplifting one. It's definitely Bear that the chords are the same as. But it's I think it ends with lyrics about screaming, and I think the word is apologising. I think is one of the last words on it,
Oh, yeah,
which
okay.
makes me feel like, you know, him as the narrator and as the kind of carer in the story almost feels like, you know, guilty for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But like you say, the whole album is him being completely powerless to save the patient.
I mean, he mentions that like over the course of the album like multiple times, like where he's basically like, to make her feel better, he's almost like convinced himself, and she's convinced that this is all his fault.
Yeah.
It's like there's like in 2, it's like 2 voices telling me that it's all my fault.
Telling me that I'm the one to blame. Yeah,
that's the one. And it's I feel like it's such like a sad thing, because it's like it's not his fault at all, but he's doing.
He's so invested in the love. That
exactly. He's just, you know, he knows that he's not the one in the bad spot here, so he's doing all he can to make her feel better.
Yeah.
He's sad.
It's a sad album, indeed.
Yeah. But it's a fantastic
very
album.
well done. Very well executed.
Relationship goals.
Yeah. Wait, what? Excuse me? Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell.
Well, that's the most musically challenged podcast way to summarise this chat.
Well,
relationship goals.
if we're into this mood again, I'll very quickly say that I named my car after the song Sylvia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just thought
enough.
I probably shouldn't say that while we're having serious discussion about it,
No,
because it's a bit off the mood, but
Sylvia's actually quite a nice name for a car, I suppose.
that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
But
I thought you'd name yours Bjork, though, to be honest.
I got it before I discovered Bill.
So then you could be in Bjork every day.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Sorry,
can't wait for placement.
I'm giving him ideas now.
I didn't have them already.
Right, fair.
Come on,
alarm bells.
You know better.
Be
All right.
worried.
Sam?
Straight from cancer to Julian's kinky thoughts about Bjorn in about 5 seconds.
0 to 50 in 2.3 seconds, only on this podcast. Right.
So are we moving on to
Let's
think
do.
Go on.
Inform,
Explain.
Educate, Entertain, which is
Let's.
an album by Public Service Broadcasting, which are a band from Cambridge, I believe.
They're based in London right now, I think.
Yeah, but they aren't from Cambridge. Or I think they're from Cambridge.
They're very English.
They-
Oh, they're very English.
They're very English, but basically their whole like,
Which is.
I hesitate to say gimmick, but their thing is they don't
Gimmick.
sing. All right.
It's not.
They don't sing. They use vocals or recordings
samples.
from public service announcements.
Yes.
So
That's where the name comes from.
yes, but they're a very weird band, or like weird in that sort of concept, but it works so well just because their ability to create a song around these samples that they take is like flawless.
And
really.
the way that they accentuate them as well. It's like, obviously these public service broadcasts that they've taken are like not meant to like
To be in any sort of musical context.
yeah, exactly.
Anywhere.
And at all, there's like
The fact
no
they make 'em
build
work.
up or anything, and yet they make
Yeah.
them work. For example,
It's very impressive.
so like it's really good
yeah.
like sample usage, and like we said, it's very very English. Like these are all like broadcasts that you'd imagine seeing on like I don't know.
Yeah.
The
BBC 4.
Yeah, BBC 4 in like I don't know in the 60s or something.
Like the I can't remember which song it's from, but the sample where it's that very posh one and go, we've chosen a few
Oh yeah.
albums that deal with peak moments of what was it? Human brilliance or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so Inform, Educate, Entertain was their first full album.
Yep.
Unlike the other two things that they've released, it's not concept-y at all. It's it's just a big compilation of a bunch of different songs based on a bunch of different public service announcements, and it's good. It's
good.
real good.
It's good.
It's a very motivational album.
Yeah, it is
I'd say.
actually.
Like
It's because the like samples are like all these like for example, you have like engineers like saying, "Oh, they're going to head out to build a Spitfire." They've got people saying about climbing Everest.
Yeah.
They have all sorts of things like this. And
It's all sort of like there's. I feel like
proud,
there's
that's what it is.
Oh yeah, like you said, it's not a concept album, but there's still a running theme of like human endeavor.
Yes, there is
That
definitely.
I feel like
Yeah.
runs throughout
Definitely.
the whole
That's
album.
the motivational part. Is exactly that.
Because like, yeah, it's sort of got, for me, it's got that sort of like, I don't know how to, like, it's got quite a sort of retro feel to it based on, you know, like, obviously the public service announcement helped with that, but then it's almost got like that feel of maybe something maybe like 30 years back looking forward into the future.
Yes, it does.
It's got that kind of Aliens vibe of like retro futuristic. Which I don't know why. It's
like
just
the brilliant tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, this is how it'll be.
yeah.
Everything will be perfect in
with
this
like
utopian world.
especially with like the now generation. And
Yeah, Roy G. Biv as well. I was thinking
yeah.
the world of colour.
Technicolor everywhere. Like that sort of effect.
Colour within the reach of everyone.
There's actually a line that's something about like straight out of the past and into the future or something like that.
Yeah,
isn't there?
that's
early
in,
on, and that like sums it up very well.
That's in yeah.
theme
Well,
from-
it's originally used in or like the song they used it in is the Now Generation, but they also used it because the first song they take the samples used in all the songs over the album and
yes.
make it a sort of intro song. And
That's the title track.
because in the Now Generation,
Which
they
I
go,
enjoy that one.
out
very
of the
much.
past and into your future comes this news, and the news is cleats, and then like but then they use it with, and the news is public service broadcasting.
Yeah.
But oh man,
Yeah, it feels like they're sort of it's motivational, and that feels like their sense of purpose with this album. Like
yeah,
that's what's enjoyable about it. It feels like it's like looking back at like achievements that humankind
a
has
short
done.
history of like modern
it's
past
like-
100 something years.
And
human
then they invented
achievements.
flights. Like man invented. It's
Yeah,
like
it was
we
like-
should take a step back to be like, damn, you know,
You did
some
good.
impressive
you did a
shit.
pretty good job.
And then we elected Trump. We did some impressive shit. But yeah, it's got to go downhill at some point, I suppose. But yeah, no, like it's sort of, and this carries through with their second album,
Definitely.
second full length, which was the Race for Space, all about exactly what the title
The
is.
space race.
Yeah, space
Which
race
is-
with America and Russia, and it's sort of taking a step back, being like, we went to the flipping moon, guys. We we sent a bunch of men out into space.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
And
heckin'-
definitely didn't do it in a studio somewhere.
Yeah, we bought a studio, we got a camera,
We got the moon.
made some people hop around for a bit. It's impressive stuff, you know. Fooled the whole nation.
Convince everyone that the world isn't actually flat. I got added to a
A flat earthers group.
Facebook group of flat Earth discussions by one of my mates. I think it might have been Nick, but it's like
Classic.
every so often I get a notification on Facebook like, this person posted to flat Earth discussion group. I'm like, oh. Thing is, they're all serious.
Drop
like,
the red pill.
Yeah, like it's not like you'd think it'd be ironic. It's not. They're all like fully serious. They've all got really like cringy Facebook photos as well, because you know they're all woke.
I kind of want to follow this, but
So
also I
funny.
don't want to be associated. But it
No,
sounds
I'm
hilarious.
staying out of it.
It's so good.
Yeah. This album's just a fun time for all of these reasons.
It is.
It's a fun mix of these samples that they've used.
Yeah, and the sort of the different sound of every different song, like makes it interesting enough to just keep going through. Like you got like bits of ukulele, bits of banjo, bits of like more electronic stuff.
Yeah.
I have to say, I wasn't the biggest fan of the banjo, was it, on Roy G. Biv?
Roy G. Biv.
I felt it was a little bit out of character
Yeah.
compared to the rest.
I don't know.
I didn't think it was out of character
the thing is,
at all.
it popped up and then all of the rest of the instruments dropped off just to let it like solo. It just felt like it just didn't belong there for me. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, the song still was enjoyable
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I enjoyed the samples
Yeah.
and how they were composed against the instrumentation minus the banjos.
Yeah.
That was good.
Fair to say. I mean, like, it's not super like artistic and like emotion carrying. this album.
No.
But it's good for like the motivational reasons, like we said, and like the sample use, and like it sort of is like I said, like a look, you know, humans have done some good shit, you know.
Yeah, because this is definitely like their other two albums have like very emotional moments in it. Like
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
know,
say
on Race for Space you've got stuff like Fire in the Cockpit, and in
War.
the War Room you've got like the whole overarching theme of it is quite sad. But then you've got like the final track called A Song for Something. I can't remember what it is, but it's basically about his like one of his family who's in World War One.
Yeah.
And it's like played on their ukulele.
Oh my god.
And it's like it's real sad.
Yeah.
It's like, but this album like definitely carries a lot less weight, but at the same time it's fun to listen to, and it's motivational, and it's just real good.
Yeah.
And it just really shows like how much variety they can put into their sound to like make every different song sound like as good as it, or like every song sound perfect with the
samples.
The sound often complements the songs incredibly well.
I think my favourite for that is the Now Generation, because it's because the Now Generation is all about like, you know, about like fashion and sort of almost people trying to be on like the cutting edge of fashion and be in the future, even though it's like like everything is like really stupid, like what is it, like an electric headlight to help a woman find an honest man, and stuff like that, and they've got like really like cheesy like electric guitars and stuff like that. It just works so well. And then you've got stuff like Signal 30, which is all about like road rage, death on the road, and you've got like heavy guitars in that.
Really driving, and like it creates an atmosphere of just going too fast, and eventually just the end.
It's good. It's very varied, and a lot of the samples are sort of similar because they all have that like
they've all
50s television voice.
Yes, absolutely they do.
Hello.
Which is like why it feels so British. Hello there.
There's a British charm throughout the entire thing.
That's exactly it.
And I think for that reason, Night Mail is my favourite.
Yes.
Because before I'd heard the album and the sample came on, this is the night train crossing the border. That sample, I had heard that somewhere before I listened to this album. I cannot remember where for the life of me.
Don't know,
But the fact that I was now basically hearing it in a new light with some really clean,
really well accentuated.
It works so well with the instrumental on this, and I can't help but just grinning whenever it comes on.
Yeah.
That's just the rich. That's the poor. Shop in the corner and the girl next.
500 million letters every year.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's wonderful. I love that.
It's just so much fun.
And then there's like on the other side of the spectrum, there's stuff like is it Late Night? Not Late Night Final. The Fairy Lamps one. I can't remember.
Lit Up.
Yeah.
You like that one, don't you?
So funny. It's basically they took the samples from like a radio broadcast of a guy who's like at a Navy show or something.
Right.
And they all got really, really drunk. And he's like, we've forgotten the whole world review. And it's like, he's smashed, and he's just like, it's just like, it's so funny because he's just having like the best time about like all he cares about is like his lights. And he's just like in a world of his own, and the instrumental works so well with that because it's all sort of twinkly and like magical.
Yeah.
Just imagining him like just trying to explain like how in awe he is about fairy lamps on boats, and then like at the end when they're like when the lights go out and he's like, it's gone. It's gone. Not a magician who ever waved just one could have. It's just so good.
Oh, that's just fun.
Yeah, well,
they're just fun. It's like I can imagine they had a lot of fun getting these samples.
Yeah,
because they're just fun to listen to. Like I could totally go on like a YouTube spree of just watching like loads of infomercials from the 50s in Britain.
Yeah,
like it's the sort of thing you do because they're just so much fun and like so goofy.
Yeah.
And this album's like really, really good at putting them together in a really good way.
Mm.
Yeah. And like we said, it carries the themes of like motivational, especially on tracks like Everest, for example.
It's almost got that sort of kind of time capsule vibe that
Yeah,
absolutely.
that
Definitely.
Archers has. Maybe like not as it's not as like well put together. Or like impressive, shall we say, as Archers.
Yeah.
But it's still does its
British
job
sound.
very well.
It's our plucky Brits.
No, I feel like
It's a plucky little album. That's how I describe it.
maybe
Cheeky.
this it appeals to maybe Brits only. This album.
I kind of feel like
I can't imagine too many.
I mean, Americans do have they did have infomercials too.
They did, but
I can't
I'm not.
imagine
I'm not
they
sure
quite
they've
get
got the kind of charm that
Yeah,
that a lot
and
of
like the
songs
plucky
on this
underdog
does.
feel.
Yeah,
They don't have that as well.
No.
That's what makes it feel real.
Because over there it's yes we can all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Over here it's like, oh yeah, we're a bit shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
We'd
whatever.
like to hate ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
We're British. But I
hate
totally
myself.
agree with that. We're a good audience because we're British for this album.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went to see them live, and they're like the sort of the vibe that they give off of being sort of plucky and
Yeah.
very British. Like
The way they dress.
carries on so well. Like they don't speak to the crowd. He's got on his laptop. He's got voice samples of hello.
Hello there.
It's like our last song was an old one. Here's a new one, or stuff like that.
Oh, so
and
good.
he managed to put down hecklers, only using 6
Oh, that's
phrases. He had a special one just in case, which was just settle down. That's so good. So there was this one guy who was absolutely smashed, and it kind of annoyed me, but he managed to managed to stop him from being a complete arsehole, at least.
That's just so much
But
fun.
no, it was
That'd
really
be fun to be there.
And they had their own Sputnik.
Oh,
wow.
nice.
They had a Sputnik, and then it had lights on the front, so I don't know. It had they played Sputnik first, and then the Sputnik came up, and then the Sputnik was a light show for every other song.
Oh.
And then
That's
they were
really cool.
say hello to Sputnik. And then it had a little smiley face on it. It was oh,
That's just
Sputnik's cute.
That's just really fun.
It was a really fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should listen to Radio 6 Music because Will Goose does some shows on there every now and then. I don't know if you knew.
I did not.
No, you should get on those.
Well,
Definitely. I like how they've all got really kind of old British yokelly names like Will Goose and Wrigglesworth and whatever.
they are.
They don't take themselves
They are
seriously.
incredibly
Exactly.
British.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they are the band I think.
They're
probably.
quintessential.
Quintessentially.
You can only say that about someone being really British.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Good lads.
I agree.
And they make some good music.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're well summarised.
Well, I mean, apart from that new single they released, I was honestly pretty disappointed with it.
Really?
Yeah.
How
I
so?
enjoy it.
I think it was underwritten. I wasn't that overwhelmed by the vocal samples. I thought the whole message was a little bit vague. I can understand why they left it as to be a little, because when they say progress and the whole song is celebrating progress. I guess it leaves a little bit up to the interpretation of whether it's technological progress, which is what they've always written about before,
Yeah.
or whether they're now trying to rope social progress into it.
I feel
well.
like it's.
I think it's trying to
It's
it's crossing over there.
Thing is
Yeah.
though, I sort of saw parallels in that of maybe the song was about them progressing.
I also saw
because
that.
because when they said because they it might be them saying we're thinking about having some actual people sing on it.
No, yeah, this is the
they-
first song they have where someone
well,
sings on it, probably.
Second.
Is it?
But
Get your facts right, honey.
yeah, soz mate. But
Yeah, I think it was just a statement song for those three reasons.
because they said the machines will do the heavy work, men will supervise the machines, and
Yeah.
that's what I think was basically saying we're gonna stay electronic, but we might have
Yeah, we're gonna have
the odd person supervising that. And it was,
yeah.
But I don't know.
I can understand
It
you
could-
saying it's underwritten,
it-
but I think
yeah.
the message,
It
the
is
simplicity of the message.
I like the
is
vocal
a
melody.
It is a
I like the
little-
vocal melody.
It is
I'll
a
give it that.
little.
Yeah.
It is a little
nice.
like repetitive, but I think it's
It's like
I saw it as them basically saying like we might change up our we're going to change up our sound.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree. Agree.
I'd welcome that.
We'll look forward to that.
To the new album,
come out with
right?
Stuff.
I'm hoping so.
This year.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see how that develops.
Yeah.
Should be exciting times. Yeah. I think.
And after that weird arpeggio, shall we finish?
I think Julian's
that was
broken.
an arpeggio.
That was an unsure arpeggio. A broken chord from a broken voice.
From a broken man.
Yeah, pretty much. No word of no word of protest there.
Yeah.
So what's happening next week?
Ooh.
Ooh!
The good kid,
Arpeggios.
City.
Yeah.
Finally do some Kendrick on the Music Challenge podcast.
Yeah.
And
I'm hyped.
And
we're coming back to it. We're gonna do Merryweather.
Revisiting.
Shout out to episode 1 where we briefly mentioned it, but we're doing some more Animal Collective.
Yeah, we didn't give it.
Merryweather Post Pavilion deserves a full album doing on this podcast. So
It
Kendrick
definitely
and
does.
Animal Collective.
This is gonna be a fun week.
It's gonna be a fun
Been a
week.
string of fun weeks.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
by a string, I mean this one and
This
the
one,
after.
the next one. We have to look for
Yeah.
strings of 2 when we can.
Yeah.
Between when Julian chooses a classic.
Pretty much.
So yeah,
let's see. Now,
look forward to that.
we
as
did,
well.
we did Kid Amnesiac, and then I chose Spiderland. You both enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I mean, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't fun.
yeah. Like, I'm glad I listened to it, but like it was kind of draining, but it was good.
What I'm basically saying is, I hate your music, Julian, and I don't appreciate you or your opinions. And
Yeah.
basically,
Every choice you've made is
I
post
yearn
rock.
for the weeks where me and Mike get to choose the music.
You can
want
you
to
can
get
choose
myself.
you can choose the music.
Overruled. We're gonna overrule you from now on.
It's a mutiny. Get out our house.
It's not even a mutiny. It's a flipping democracy. There's more of us than you. You are a pirate.
want because a pirate is free.
You are a Julian. So yeah, that'll be next week.
Yeah. See you next.
See you then, people.
Hopefully I'll be slightly less ill.
Hopefully I'll be ill.
Hopefully you'll be dead.
Yep. We'll see.
Mm.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye bye.
Bye.